You ever wonder what makes someone like Shah Rukh Khan a global phenomenon? I mean, really think about it. It's not just the talent. It's not just the looks. It's something else, right? A kind of hidden human energy that just pulls you in. An internal magnetism that makes a person completely unforgettable. Well, today, we're going to pull that energy apart and see exactly how it works. Let's get into it.
Now, that's not just a cool movie line. That is a mindset. It's the kind of deep-seated self-belief that fuels a truly charismatic force. It's someone declaring that they understand their own internal power. And that power, that thing we call charisma, it's something we can all learn to understand and, yeah, even unlock for ourselves.
So, here's the game plan for today. We are breaking charisma down into 4 clear, understandable traits. We're going to look at expressive intelligence, then relational intelligence, the power of your own energy and presence, and then the big one that ties it all together, authenticity. And by the end, you'll have a much better idea of which of these traits you can start dialing up in your own life.
Okay, let's start at the beginning and define what we're even talking about. Charisma isn't some magical gift you're either born with or you're not. Forget that idea. Think of it more like an internal magnet, an energy that we all have from day one. The secret is that it just works a little differently for each of us.
This is that X factor. It's the trait that made historical figures from Cleopatra to Alexander the Great so unbelievably compelling. And in our time, it's what allowed someone like Steve Jobs to turn a tech company into a global obsession. So look, this whole explainer isn't about teaching you to be someone else. It's about helping you find and unleash the specific charismatic spark that's already inside of you.
All right, our first pillar is what we call expressive intelligence. This is all about how we communicate everything that's going on inside of us without saying a single word. It's the art of showing, not just telling.
And check this out. This popular breakdown of communication is just fascinating, right? It suggests that only a tiny 7% of what we're trying to say comes from our actual words. A whopping 93% comes from our tone of voice and, get this, our body language. It's proof that how you say something can completely change the meaning of what you're saying.
You want to see a masterclass in this? Think of the late, great Irfan Khan. In the movie The Lunchbox, there are these long scenes where he barely speaks, but his face, his eyes, they tell a whole story. You can feel a universe of loneliness, of hope, of vulnerability. That right there is expressive intelligence at its peak, making your inner world visible to everyone else. So how do you work on this? Try something called the mirror exercise. A lot of actors do this. Just stand in front of a mirror and try to show an emotion, joy, sadness, anger, surprise, using only your face, no words. Just watch how your eyes widen or how your brow furrows. It's a simple way to get your face to learn how to communicate, not just speak.
Okay, building on that, let's talk about our second pillar, relational intelligence. We've talked about expressing ourselves, but real connection is a two-way street. And this is about the superpower that most people ignore, the art of truly deeply listening to someone else.
And this chart says it all, doesn't it? Take a look at the view counts for these 2 TED Talks by the exact same speaker. The one on how to speak has nearly 10 times the views of the one on how to listen better. Our whole society is obsessed with talking, with broadcasting our own opinions. And you know what that means? It creates a huge opportunity. In a world full of talkers, a great listener isn't just rare. They're memorable, and they are incredibly charismatic.
To make this easier, you can use the NCA method. It starts with I for intention. You have to genuinely want to hear them. It can't be faked. Then N for nodding, a simple physical cue that says, I'm with you. S is for a subtle smile, which just creates this warm, safe atmosphere. E is for eye contact, the most direct way to build a real connection. And finally, A is for ask. Ask questions. It proves you're not just waiting for your turn to talk, you're actually listening.
And this beautiful Sufi saying just takes it to a whole other level. It's a reminder that when we give someone our complete, undivided attention, we're doing something almost sacred. We're showing them the deepest form of respect. That is the soul of relational intelligence.
Now for our third trait. This one is a little more abstract, a bit more out there, but stick with me because it is incredibly powerful. It's about energy and presence. It's that invisible vibe you give off that can change the entire feeling of a room before you even open your mouth.
The brilliant inventor Nikola Tesla was way ahead of his time. He knew that everything in the universe, including us humans, operates on a level of energy and frequency. And this isn't just some new age philosophy. Modern science is actually starting to prove him right.
So research from the HeartMath Institute has found something just mind-blowing. We all know the brain is an electrical powerhouse, right? Well, it turns out the heart emits an electrical field that's up to 60 times greater than the brain's. But that's not even the craziest part.
Because the magnetic field it generates is a staggering 100 times stronger than the brain's, and it's so powerful it can literally be detected several feet away from your body. So what on earth does that mean? Well, it means our heart is creating this powerful electromagnetic field all around us, what some people have called an aura or a biofield for centuries. And here's the kicker. This field changes based on our emotions. When you feel happy and positive, you are literally radiating a different frequency than when you feel angry or stressed. This is the real science behind getting a good vibe or a bad vibe from somebody.
So how do you control this energy? Well, it all starts with managing your internal state. You can try this super simple exercise. Just take 3 minutes, that's it. Close your eyes and just observe. Notice your breath going in and out. Notice the thoughts just floating by without judging them. This little practice anchors you in the present moment, calms that inner chaos, and helps stabilize the energy you're putting out into the world.
And that brings us to our fourth and final trait, and honestly, it's the glue that holds all the others together. It's authenticity. This is all about closing the gap between who you really are on the inside and the person you show to the world.
Sociologist Irving Goffman gave us this brilliant way to think about it. We all have an onstage persona, right? That's the polished, curated version of us we show to our colleagues or on social media. Then there's the backstage persona. That's the more relaxed, unfiltered you that you show to your family and best friends. And then there's the offstage self. That's the person only you know, with all your private fears, your secret dreams. Authenticity is simply the journey of bringing that offstage self and onstage self closer and closer together. So how do you do that? The path really has 2 key steps. First, self-awareness. You have to actually know what you stand for, what your real values are. And second, self-acceptance. Embracing all of it, the good stuff and the messy stuff. You know, when Shah Rukh says, "I am the best," it's not really about ego. It's a tool for self-acceptance. It's him reminding himself to believe in his own value, no matter what anyone else thinks.
So we've pulled charisma apart into these 4 core pillars. We've talked about expressing yourself without words, listening with your whole being, managing your energy, and being unapologetically you. The last question is, what do you do now? I want you to take a second and ask yourself this. Of these 4 traits, expressive intelligence, relational intelligence, energy and presence, and authenticity, which 1 or 2 just feel the most you? Where does your inner spark already kind of glow a little brighter? Because that's your starting point. That's the trait you can lean into to begin unlocking your own unique brand of charisma.
Because in the end, it all comes down to this absolutely beautiful idea. What shines outside is what glows inside. True, lasting charisma isn't a mask you put on for other people. It's the natural result of doing the work to polish the person you are on the inside. So the real journey isn't about changing who you are, it's about finally letting your own inner light shine through.